All right. Cool, man. Anthony, how are you, brother?
Dude, it's such an honor, such a pleasure to be here with you, Rick. I know we've been in the film trenches on a couple of sets here and there,
Yes,
and
sir.
we bonded on set. But brother, just to see what you have going on here, man, it's really impressive. I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's an honor to have you too. You know, you're one of the top dogs in Miami. So
I don't know about that. I'm just out here trying to work and feed my family.
Yeah. Well, you're doing your thing, man. We met on the set of Secret Society, the movie. You were our DP on there. You did a phenomenal job. The
No,
movie's
thank
done
you.
very well because of your contribution, both on production and post-production. So I know myself and the rest of the guys really appreciated all the dedication and work you put into it.
Dude, and we did that, was that 2 years ago, 3 years ago when we did the first one?
Yeah, 2 years this
2
time.
years.
Yeah, about now it's 2 years for the first one.
And we're doing the third one.
The third one
already, man.
Yeah,
wow,
it's crazy, right?
Shout out to Rich and Miyashi, man, for that, man. It's great.
Time flies.
Time flies.
Yeah, but well, besides DPing, what else do you do?
Man, I hate when they ask me that question because usually people say, well, when I'm not working, I enjoy doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy cinematography. I enjoy being a DP. When I'm not shooting, I'm researching, I'm learning and advancing my craft, investing in my craft, still practicing with my cameras, doing still photography. But I have to say, the thing that I do the most when I'm not shooting is spending time with my family. That's what I love with my kids, my wife. Family time is very important to me. Gordon Willis back in the day, Roger Deakins, they talk about one of the few regrets that they have as cinematographers in the industry is looking back, not having spent enough time with the family. Because you and I both know, man, the hours, the amount of time that you put in this, if you're not strategic and disciplined, it can consume your life. And before you know it, kids are off to high school, life moves on. And so I'm glad that I'm able to spend a lot of time with the family while doing what I do. So basically, cinematography and family is pretty much it.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. That's great. And is that something you kind of felt on your own, or is it because of hearing that?
Hearing what?
I forget the name of the cinematographer.
No, I resonated with them when I heard them say that because it's very true. But I would say that the reason why I do that, because when I was younger, I learned my values as far as what do I want, what does success mean to me as a cinematographer. That shifted. When you're a young buck, it's like all about, making money, you know what I'm saying? But as time shifts, for me was success for me in my, whatever job is, am I spending time, am I able to spend time with my family? That is success to me.
That's the real success.
If I'm able to, whatever I'm able to do, as long as I'm able to spend time with my family, then I have a successful career. Whether I make a little or a lot of money in what I'm doing, I'm spending time with my family. That for me is the most valuable thing. Fortunately, I'm able to feed my family, doing what I do. I love what I do. But, spending time with the family is a big deal, as you can tell.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. And you have like a great team around you, great group of guys that you bring along with you. How long, like guys like Raul and Matt and all those other guys, like how long have you guys been working with each other?
I would say close to maybe 7, 8 years. And there's other friends that I've been working with in the trenches like Julio. I've been working with Julio for, almost 15, 16 years.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's like this everywhere. I can only speak of Miami, But once you find you're a solid team that are responsible, passionate people, that's your crew, I don't roll with a big entourage of filmmakers. My crew is a small group of people, but they're reliable, they're passionate, trustworthy guys, they're dedicated. That when they're going to come on set, we're going to have a good time. We gel, we laugh, but we work hard as well. So yeah, we've been in the film trenches a good 10, 12 years.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Once you find good people here in Miami, you stick with them.
You gotta stick with them. Yeah, because it's not easy to find good, hardworking, dedicated guys. And it's not that I don't think everybody is not. It's just that everybody kind of like gravitate towards certain people, and if you're not part of that, then
That is true.
They don't give you the 100% that you would hope, you know.
Well, let me ask you, Ray, what do you think is so cliquey about this industry? And I don't want to say maybe cliquey, but it's like that, you know. You have your circle of peoples, right? I have my circle of people. You know, is it a trust issue? Is it a comfort thing?
I think it is. I think it's a trust issue because maybe people feel like there's not enough to go around. So people are kind of like, not shady, but they're just, oh, well, if I don't grab this opportunity right now,
right,
then I might miss out something for myself.
Right.
So I have to, you know, chop this guy off at the
right.
You know what I mean? Like I have to, and you know, that's happened and it's unfortunate. You know, I've worked with a lot of good guys, but I think what I've done that has allowed me to not deal with that so much is that I just made sure I was just good to everybody.
Yeah.
I was just trustworthy to, you know, I stayed not, I don't want to use the word loyal, but like, you just knew I was the safe guy. You didn't have to worry about me. You can turn around, you can leave me with your client, you can leave me with your gear, you can leave me with everything.
That's right.
And you don't have to worry about nothing, you know?
And let me tell you, in this industry, in the film industry, that is such a high asset value that when a person brings that, you know, because making movies, you know, and if you're making movies in Miami, even on an independent level, I would say you're one of the few that are working. There's not a lot of feature film work here in Miami. So if you're doing feature film work, and feature film work is high stakes work. You can't mess around. People need to know that you're the real deal. You're legit. You're reliable. And I find, as I'm sure that you have as well, if you have good, honest relationships, you do what you say you're going to do in this industry, man, people remember that. They'll embrace you. Yeah. And the work will just continue to go, you know? Yeah.
And you have to be careful with the small stuff too. Like just telling someone, hey, I'll be right back. I'll get you a coffee.
Right.
And then forgetting them a couple times, Right. After the third day, it's like, okay, you don't really, you know, it's like even little things like that. You have to be conscious of like making sure, you know, you stick to your word. So no, I definitely feel you on that. So let's get, you know, we can converse some more as we continue on to your page, but have you checked some of them out? Do you know, you get the gist of the concept of the podcast?
Yeah. Okay. You know, it's very loose, very informal, you know.
Yeah. And we'll just go over your posts and kind of dive into some of the stories behind them, your thoughts behind them, why you post them.
Yeah, sure.
Hence the name, what you post to say.
Okay.
Right? All right. Cool. So
this is a great concept, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's start with your handle here, Dark Room Pictures Video. Tell me about that name. Why did you name your company Dark Room Pictures?
Man, I remember the exact moment when I came up with that name. I was a corporate training manager for a company called Intel Direct, and you know, I'm grateful for work, whatever. But it was corporate America. You know, I'm a creative. It was just hard, man. You know, corporate work for me is just hard. I'm a free spirit, you know. So I remember, because I had studied film in Chicago. I did like a 3-month vocational course
you're from
in
Chicago?
Originally born and raised in Chicago, 32 years, yeah. I've been in Miami for about maybe 22 years. So I was in this corporate gig, and when I came to Miami, I hadn't done film for a long time, but that was a passion of mine. You know, it was always there. So I was always having imaginations and dreams in my mind, you know, while I'm there in a cubicle, you know, about my film aspirations, you know. So one day I came up with the concept of Darkroom Pictures, where we develop bright ideas.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's a great concept.
And, you know, the simple red light bulb. And I was like, that was it. So shortly after that, maybe a month or two, you know, I was laid off. You know, the unemployment for whatever. I'm like, this is my chance to dive into it and go back into it. But that's pretty much where Darkroom Pictures came from.
Nice. And funny enough, so Intel, what was the name of the company?
Intel Direct.
Why do I feel like
it was like a call center?
Okay, so it's crazy coincidence. What was the name of the owner of the company? Do you remember?
If you say it, I'll remember. It was a family.
Ricky Ariola.
Yes. Yes.
So
wasn't like the dad like into politics or something?
He was like a mayor or a governor of down here.
Yes.
His name was what was Ricky's father's name?
Joe, was it Joe?
Joe Ariola.
Yes.
His son, so I knew them because I was friends with their son, Frankie Ariola.
Now, Frankie, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I know he had.
He was the youngest. Yeah, it was Ricky, another one, and Frankie.
But his other two sons were the big dogs there at Intel at that call center.
Yeah.
So.
And funny enough, I've gone to the one in Chicago.
Oh, they have a branch in Chicago.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because they flew me. What it was is they have I don't want to. I think it's like a mailing service or something.
Yes,
like that.
yeah. They did fulfillment.
Yeah, something like that. So they flew me there because I was shooting the ad for them for their location.
So you were already shooting when I was working there. Wow, that's crazy, man.
They flew me there to shoot an ad for their facility up there. So when you said that, you said Chicago. I'm like, yeah, no, something up there. And they have a location here in like Miami Lakes or something.
Yes,
like that.
that's the one that I was right. That was like 2 minutes from where I lived at the time.
Okay, so. Yeah.
Small world, man.
Small world, dude. But yeah, Frankie was in production. He was a PA when I was a PA. And
yeah.
He brought me to his brother. We met, and then that's how I know him. But man, look at that.
Yeah.
Small world. Okay, so. Let's look at here. Darkroom Pictures owner Anthony Dones, which you have a cool last name, by the way, man. Is there any origins of that, Dones? I've never heard that last name before.
Me personally, I think it's Spanish. I think it's Spanish origins. People always ask me, how's the proper way to say it? Is it Dones, Dones? I have no idea. There's no wrong way to say it. I like to embrace the biblical Spanish interpretation of it, which means gifts. Dones del Espíritu means gifts of the Spirit. So I embrace that because I have a lot of gifts. You know, I like to write. I'm a musician. You know, I do film. So filmmaking allowed me to encapsulate all of my talents into one thing because I was all over the place, man, when I was in my 20s as a young adult. You know, am I going to be a music producer? Am I going to be a pastor? Am I going to be a filmmaker? Dude, I was like, it's just a lot of things going on in my life at that time.
No, that's the time to try to figure it out, right? But
yeah.
If we get to figure it out, that's the icing on the cake because a lot of times people don't figure it out, especially by our age, you know? It's like, hey.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, you know, you got your handle, website, stuff here. Oh, you got a 1-800 number.
Yeah, that's man.
Cool. I haven't seen no like independent guys with 1-800 numbers.
Man, I learned my lesson. When I used to have my personal number out there, man, I'm like, nah, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Protect my family, protect my my life, you know, a little buffer, you know.
No, for sure. All right, cool. Let's see here. Well, let's start with your latest post. This was in July. Wow, so you don't post very often.
No, well, actually, this is a pinned post. So if you go back, so when prospective clients come, they see what I want them to see first. Those two pinned posts, my reel and
pin
the
post.
truck.
What is it? Because I've heard some people say that. I'm not the most savvy.
Me either, dude. Me either, man. I'm not a big social media guy. I only do social media because I have to. But the pin post is whatever you pin, they stay at the top of your feed. So when people come to see your site, they'll see the I want them to see that my demo reel, which is what they always want to see, and what type of gear I have. So that's why I pin those two.
So no matter what you post, those just stay up at the top.
Correct.
Got it. I got to try that out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, let's look at that since that's what's there. So this is your new truck, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have this.
Man, I was
part 1 and 2. Yeah,
I did not. Okay. I did not. Yeah. This truck I've had for about maybe 2 months now.
2 months. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. So how's it going so far with it?
Oh man, it's great. Oh, it's amazing. It was a life changer. I told my wife, we discuss everything for the business and investments and stuff like that. I says, listen, I'm gonna let you know now. When I buy this truck, it's not to make money off of it, even though that's the game plan. But I says, it's more for my back. You know, to preserve my back, because I was working out of my Suburban, dude, in putting gear into your Suburban,
rolling it in,
getting to the gig, rolling it out, setting it up, breaking down, putting it back in your truck, going back home, taking everything back out here, putting it in. I was doing that for like 15 years, Rick. That's how you know you love being a filmmaker, because the grind is brutal, man. So I'm like, look, and I'm not getting any younger. I need if I want to keep working and, keep going to the future, I'm trying to juice this out as much as possible. We had to do the truck. And ever since I got it, man, I wish I would have made the investment a lot sooner. It's very well worth it.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, and I feel you about the whole getting older. There's a lot of things I slowed down from doing too, like running around with those cameras and building, like it takes a toll on you.
I always tell my interns or new people that I'm working with that want to get in the industry, the first thing I say to them, if you are not passionate about filmmaking, if you do not love filmmaking, the process of filmmaking will chew you alive. It will beat you up, man. Your passion for it has to supersede the brutal beatings you take on a film set,
So true. Because, even dealing with like gear like this, I've gripped and all that stuff too in my past. So like just the grip side of it alone and the electrical side of it, the toll it takes on you and the dedication you have to, that's why these guys, you have to.
That's right.
Really respect
them, treat them right. That's right.
Because if you haven't gone through it, you just think, oh, it's just guys running around with metal.
No, man.
No. There's an art to it too.
Yes.
To know what to use at a certain time.
Yes.
Somebody like you as a DP call out something and for that person just running and grab it, set it up within a quick turnaround and things like that. Like guys who can do that are very valuable,
Yo, shout out to all the grips and gaffers I've ever worked with, man. I have mad respect for what they do. Mad respect.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, it looks great truck, man.
Thank you.
Let's see here as well. Let's go here. This is a great photo here.
It's my demo reel.
Okay, let's look at a few seconds of that. So what are your demo reel consists of what more? More of what?
This is just a highlight of some of my work, showing different lighting scenarios, different moods, corporate, music video, feature film, scale, scope, color grading.
I remember.
You got to throw a little celebrity in there, here and there,
Yeah, the stuff looks great, man. And all of this stuff is shot with your Blackmagic.
Like I'm a Blackmagic guy, man.
And you work that thing, man.
I love man. I'm convinced. Even if I had the money to buy like a red, I would still opt with Blackmagic. There's something about their cameras, their menu systems that actually inspires me to shoot and go out and visually tell stories. They're just so easy to work with, cinematic. They're not out there with expensive third proprietary, items, like other companies do. I just don't find the justification, in spending so much more money for a very, very little difference. It's a great time to be alive as a filmmaker.
Yeah. Oh, no, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. The technology. Just the quality of work that you get out of these cameras for what you pay for them is incredible.
And actually, for Secret Society, after we did First Secret Society, man, that's First Secret Society footage right there. And I had a lot of people just, asking the directors and the producers, hey, man, what camera did your DP, use? And I just love saying, we shot that scene with a little pocket 4K, Ursa Mini Pro, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, no, when I've told people that, they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. When you know what you're doing with it, it's like,
exactly.
It's not the camera.
Listen, man, I have a saying. If the DP sucks, shoot it on a Red or Alexa, because if you shoot it on those cameras, it has to be good, right? But if the DP has talent, give them any camera. So I've gravitated I don't promote camera brands anymore. I promote my creative instinct and my ability to light a scene. That is what I sell as a cinematographer. Gear has its place, and I know a lot of the young kids, the gear porn and all that stuff, but it's like you said, man, if you have a fantastic camera, and we've seen footage that's been shot on Red and Alexa, and it's not lit well. No. They don't have a sense of camera movement, visual storytelling and stuff like that. So I think people will definitely take a well-shot, well-lit scene. They don't care. People don't care what lenses, we may notice, that's a spherical lens. That's an anamorphic lens, But the general public, they just want a good story.
They just want a good story. And the more they don't see the mistakes or the little blemishes and things like that, the more they just fall into the story and enjoy it. And that's what your job is as a filmmaker is to do, is you just let them get immersed into the project and not, oh, that's too dark. Or,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
this, or,
Exactly.
Once that starts happening, it's
Exactly.
bad. They're not looking at, well, what camera that. That's us.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's worried about stuff like that. They don't, you know,
Exactly.
as long as you make it look good, and you make this stuff look great,
Yeah.
man.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful lighting.
Thank you.
Okay. And then also, if as we're going down, if there's something you see that you know you want to touch on, for sure, you know, stop me, tell me to
yes.
look at that. Well, let's look at this. This looks interesting.
Now this, I really like this because I find that this is a post that I did about how cinematographers, the old school masters, you know, and you hear them talk about this a lot, how they would study Rembrandts, you know, and old classical paintings to study light, shadow, and color. You know, how did the greats, with the stroke of a brush, how were they capturing the softness and intensities of shadows? You know, where were they falling? That's why you'll hear us on set talking about, you know, if I'm talking to a gaffer, I'm like, hey, listen, I want this light on the right side. I want a Rembrandt on the actor and stuff like that. And we're getting those phrases from these classical artists, you know, and the techniques that they employed. And I think that I wish that there was more discussions on this than gear, lenses, lighting. I think that at the core of a great cinematographer, yes, you have to have a technical knowledge. You have to wield the technical aspect of that to execute a vision for your client, for the story, for the movie. But the cinematographers that really excel are romantics. They're poets. They're spiritual. You know, they're studying human nature. And that, you can tell when a cinematographer conveys that. You know, some cinematographers are very clean and clinical, you know, and by the book. And then there's others, man, you just see their stuff. It's just beautiful work. And it connects with you spiritually, and you're emotionally invested just on the visuals alone.
Yeah.
And it's by studying, you know, the old school masters, you know.
Yeah.
Look, doesn't this look like from The Godfather, Gordon Willis? Something like that, right?
Oh, this is great.
So these are good light studies.
And you have like the guys that, you know, come ask you questions, you usually refer them to this kind of stuff to study or reference.
We've had some conversations, you know, with some younger DPs and stuff, and you know, we talk about that, you know, what the old school masters would study. There's some scenes in Blade Runner, the original one. Jordan Cronenworth, is it Jeff Cronenworth? I always get his name incorrect, but that movie is just insane. I mean, it's still ahead of its time, visually, cinematography wise. There's scenes in there that look like actual Rembrandts. You know, they really had a sense of how to shape light, understand light, and how to convey emotion with light. You know, I wish I could hear younger DPs talking a lot more about that. You know, there's a lot going on right now. You know, just gear, you know, gear reviews. You know, stuff like that. But
well, it's the capitalism side of the business that's kind of taking over and kind of making things easier for these young guys. Which I get it, but at the same time, are we losing quality in the art?
Let me, you bring up a good point. I'm 51. I'm going to be 52 next year. Yeah. Let me ask you a question, brother. Do you feel that the quality of movies has increased in the past 5, 6, 7 years, or has it decreased? With the advent of all the amazing technology that we have now?
I would say it decreased. And the reason why I say that is I find myself scrolling through all the platforms, trying to find something to watch, and there isn't, a lot of it feels like something else. And then not like back in the day when a movie was coming out, it was an event.
Yeah, it was, that's right.
It was an event.
It was a thing.
It was a thing, like you know, the promotion for it, you felt like these people were trying to entertain you. they were trying to put their best foot forward. They were trying to create this thing that would, like, you would hold on to. Like, I remember when I was a kid, every summer we would wait to watch The Sound of Music on TV when it would come on TV.
Man.
You know, was it summer or winter? Around that time, we would wait for it to come on because it was such a great movie, or watching Bruce Lee movies on tapes and just kind of, but you can feel the, what's the word? Like you could feel that they were trying to create something that was
contribute something to humanity.
Exactly. You know, they were trying to say something,
enduring,
entertain you. But now it just feels like
you're checking off some lists.
Yeah,
you know, and
it's kind of like there's a lot of movies where somebody just had a clever idea and they just know somebody who knows somebody and they got it off. Or it's become more of, and it's always been a business, but there was this integrity to the business before that. It's not so much there. So I remember back in the day, there was only one movie I ever like just stopped watching, which I love Tom Green, but when he did that Freddy Got Finger movie and I went to the movie theater, I went to the movie theaters to go watch because I'm such a big fan of his. I love like silly comedy like that too.
Oh, I remember that.
And like halfway through it, I was like, what am I watching here? This is bad. And I just left. And that was the first time that ever happened to me.
Right.
Now, I don't know if it's because of the convenience of watching it from home or whatever. It's like, I'll start watching something and I'm like, no, this not. And I'll watch something else. And then finally I'll catch something. And then I'll catch something every here and there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is great. I can watch the whole thing.
So let me take a wild guess here. Am I right in saying then it probably sounds like you're probably going back in time and just rewatching a lot of the old school stuff, right? Because that's what I've been doing.
Yes.
And let me also say that I think it's awesome that we have two brothers, two grown men talking about The Sound of Music and how awesome that movie is. Let me tell you, I snoozed on that movie all my life because I'm not really into musicals. The only musical I liked up until that point was West Side Story. So my daughter came home from school one day. She's like, Daddy, we saw this movie called, The Sound of Music. Can we watch it together? And I was like, okay, I'll do anything for my daughter. All right. After we watched that movie, I was so angry at myself because I had missed out. This movie was an event. It stirred something in me at the end of the movie. After I finished watching the movie, I felt empty as a filmmaker. I'm like, we are not doing this anymore. No. Not so much, like the craftsmanship, the art, the writing, just the intense care. That movie's so enduring.
From top to bottom, like costume, the great set, the actors.
It's just
kids.
It's just insane, dude.
Look at
everything.
The kids in that thing.
No, there's scenes like I once I saw the movie, I just jumped on the internet and was just trying to find BTS of how it was shot. Listen, man, the technology that they had, we have so much more now. It's amazing, but there's something magical about the lenses that they were using then, the film stock. It's always so impressive to me. The film stock was so low back then. What, like, I don't know, maybe 50, 100, maybe even less. I don't know. They have these massive lights just blasting, like maybe 10 feet away from the actor's face. But man, every image on that movie is just gorgeous, man.
But see, that's what I love about that time is you can see that from conception to execution to delivery, they took their time to like really finesse every part of it to make sure it was great.
Yes.
And that's what I feel is missing from right now. It's like, okay, everybody can make a pretty picture now, because the cameras are doing most of the work for everybody.
Right.
Everyone could, everyone knows how to write a script now, a 3-act, but to really create things that matter, things that people are gonna like. I remember, I that thing that's on Instagram right now, where if you go to your DM and there's this thing on the top where you just type a note. I don't know. I just saw it.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw everybody doing it. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. Then I said, well, what would I put there if I wanted to write something? The first thing I said is, does anyone watch scary movies anymore? Because I'm really into scary films, thrillers, that kind of stuff. And so I wrote it on there. I ended up deleting it, but it made me think, why did I have to ask that question? Because I feel like I remember back when like Freddy Krueger came out or Jason or all of these movies, like these were impactful films, you know, like people would talk about them forever.
Dude, it traumatized you. It was an event in your, it was life-changing
messed
moments
your
in your
head
life.
up.
Yeah,
now it's like you see something, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like where's the magic in film? You know, like the movie that really, you know, I was always into movies, but the movie that really got me wanting to be in film was when I was 9, when I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, wow. For me, it was Star Wars.
Star Wars, oh yeah, I loved Star Wars too. But what got me with Ninja Turtles is I used to be a big fan of the cartoons. You know, I grew up watching Disney cartoons, all of those things, right? And then the Ninja Turtles is coming out and it's in movie theaters. I'm, oh, okay, that's interesting. And it was the first time I ever went.
At this point, you been reading the comic books and all that?
No, just the cartoons.
Gotcha.
That's all I was watching, right? And then I go to the movie theaters and the cartoon is in real life.
Live action.
Right? 9-year-old kid, 9-year-old me doesn't know that this is possible. I don't know. I just see cartoons. And now I see
Blew you away.
Dude, I stood up in the aisle. I never sat down through the whole movie. I just stood like this. I wore a suit and everything. I was so excited to go see this movie. It was my first time going to the movie theaters. And I wore a suit and I just stood there in the aisles like this with my eyes open the whole time. And the whole thing that was going on in my mind was, how did they do this? How did they do this? This was insane to me.
Yeah.
But now kids, you know, unfortunately, they're not wowed by that anymore. You can show them anything in the movie and it's like, they're like, oh, okay, cool. Now what they are into, like my daughter, she loves watching all these things, but she's really into story. She loves a great story. She loves, I watch Mulan and, you know, all these, and she loves, and she'll tell me, oh, Dad, that's the first thing she'll say, Dad, that was such a great story. I loved it. And I can tell when she watches something she doesn't like. And the first thing she says, that story didn't, you know?
Yeah.
So we got to get back to that, the essence of it too, you know, with the writing.
I think what it is that because of social media, everything is amazing. Yes. Everything is amazing. Oh, look at where I'm at. Look what I'm eating. Look what I'm doing. Everybody's amazing. Everything is amazing. So when you go to a movie, the movies now, you know, a lot of them, they're just memes, you know, Cocaine Bear, bro. Come on, man. You know, it's like, you know, I get it. You know, I did a post about, I did a post somewhere on social media where I was like, you know, so we've gone from Citizen Kane to Cocaine Bear. You know, somebody's like, look, man, you know, it's not trying to compete with Citizen Kane and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But Cocaine Bear, you know, somebody went to a pitch meeting and said, hey, you know, let's do a movie about a bear, a true life story about a bear. You know, I get that there's an entertainment value, but for me, it comes off like a meme. For me, the biggest thing that I think that we've lost, and you know, and stop me if I sound like, you know, the cynical old man on the lawn saying get off the grass, but human connection. I remember that the movies that I watched growing up, man, there was a lot of human connection in it, you know. Star Wars, a lot of human connection. So many, everything, you know, dude, even Superman, you know, with Christopher Reeves, you know, just rich character development, a lot of human connection. And today I don't feel like there's that as much anymore. And I don't know how much of that is a result of, you know, the social media world that we're living in right now, where it's immediate gratification for everything, you know? So, you know, how would people react to Schindler's List now if that were to come out now? You know, would people have the temperament to sit through 3 hours of that, you know? So I don't know. You're absolutely right. Story will always be king. And I still just want to gravitate to good story and to human connections, you know, movies.
But I think it boils down to people just caring about the craft in its totality and want to take the time to, you know, like I miss storyboards, bro. I haven't been on the set,
bro, preach.
Forever until somebody
preach, dude, preach, man.
And if you ever see any of my shorts, if you see any of my stuff, I've storyboarded. Yeah. Even if it's me just sketching on paper, I storyboard everything. I just enjoy the process because to me, it's art. It's not just, oh, let me just hurry and make something that everybody's gonna love or something that just is gonna make me money or something that. No, I love the art. It's a lifelong thing for me. You know, up or down, it's a lifelong. Like I can't see myself. Yeah, I'll do other business ventures and things like that. But as me as a as a human being, I want to be a filmmaker for the rest. I want to be like Clint Eastwood.
But you know what, man? But these are the things that we have to navigate as independent filmmakers. I'm not a big budget guy. I don't roll with the big dogs here in Miami that are doing, 30, 40, $50 million features and stuff like that. I'm grateful to just, to even be doing indie films, but it's the challenge of trying to capture the scope. That's always the challenging thing for I'm making a movie, storyboards, location scouting, wardrobe palettes,
all of that.
All of that. And sometimes it's a struggle to fight for those things because, limited budget, you really can't maybe pay for all of those departments and stuff. Now, that could be seen as a negative, but I've noticed that it's also a positive too. I thrive when I'm given less, because when you're given less, what does that force you to do? It forces you to be creative. It forces you to step up to the plate and be this magician, which all cinematographers and all filmmakers do, because it's what fills the frame. So it's just little things here and there. But I'm coming back to the base of our conversation here. I'm hoping that we do get a renaissance, because people are getting tired of the superhero movies now.
Yeah.
So a renaissance of just a new Martin Scorsese's and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think there's the place for all of it. It's just that some of it just takes over because of the machines behind it, And then if, like, back in the day, if you had $300,000 to make a movie, I was like dirt. Like, you had almost nothing to work with,
right?
By their standards now.
Right. But depending on what they want, depending on what the script is, you know.
But now, if you have 300,000, dude, you can do a lot.
You can.
With the technology that you have,
True.
You can do a lot. But I think people are not taking advantage of it the way they could, because now they just think, well, let me just, the cameras, and let me and then they're not sitting there, okay, well, let me be good at this.
Right.
Let me take the time to be good at this. Or if with 300,000 back then might be 30,000 right now. And like you said, less is more sometimes. So if you can take 30,000, you should be able, with the technology today,
right,
do even better than they did with the 300,000.
Right. That's true.
Back then.
That's true.
If you think about it.
That's true.
So
that's true.
It's like, yeah, dope. And another thing I want to ask you, like, why you said you wanted to be, you're a DP, and you said when you first got into this, you wanted to be a filmmaker. But what got you into DPing, or is that something you knew from the very beginning?
There was a radio TV class in high school in Chicago when I was at Clemente, Roberto Clemente, and that's where the bug really hit me, man. We were editing on the VHS decks and stuff like that. The bug just hit me, man. I knew that I wanted to do that. I gravitated towards it. Even before I knew I wanted to become a cinematographer, I was just amazed with the magic of movie making, the way that movies would make you feel, what it would convey, what it would draw out of you. All of that fascinated me. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things you really can't explain. It was just a calling that I felt so natural in it. I see the world. I'm very visual. I'll be out we'll do a date night with my wife, and we're sitting and I'm like, man, I got to put a half screen because the backlight on her is too hot. I got to soften the shadow. She's got raccoon eyes.
On the date. all the
time. It's difficult for me to enjoy a movie. I'm always looking, what lens did they use? Is that spherical lens, anamorphic lens? How much backlight, how much, power were they running on the set for the scene? How many frames per second? How do they get that color grade? Just everything. So I'm always bringing it down. But to answer your question, it's just something that when I was exposed to in high school, that's when I really gravitated towards it and knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. Cool. All right. Let's keep going here. Man, there's so much I want to stop on. Okay, let's go here. So this is one of your color grades. You did the color grading for the last movie I produced.
Yes, yes. Which, by the way, dude, you did a phenomenal job on that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a Haitian wedding. Yeah, man. Look, we went from here to here. No, so color grading. How? Because although I get it and I'm working on it, but I'm still not like there yet. And I don't know if I even want to get there, but it seems like so much work.
Oh man, Rick,
and you have to be, you have to, and you.
It's torture, brother.
Yeah.
Listen, the main reason why I got into color grading was so that I can preserve my imagery, my images, because you labor so much over the quality of your image, and then it gets handed off to somebody else, another editor. It gets shipped out to LA, Texas, Chicago, whatever, wherever the editor's at, and then you see your stuff on a network show on TV, and you're like, man, dude, they didn't do anything to the image. They just and that happened. That would happen a lot. So I got into color grading first and foremost for myself, to have control over how my demo reel looked, And I knew that if I were to, as a DP, if I got into color grading as well, it would bump me up a little bit, as far as image quality. But brother, man, let me tell you, it's a crazy thing to get into because it's both very scientific and exact and precise, yet at the same time highly subjective.
Yes.
And so I'm still trying to find my way in there because there's so many different resources. There's so many ways you can tackle problems. Rec 709, color space, color managed versus non-color managed, it's a journey, brother. It's a journey. So I'm kind of embracing that I will probably never become a full-blown professional high-end colorist. It's just a thing on its own, dude.
Yeah. It's a whole position to just...
I know just enough to do well and to do very well, But to be like on those big dogs, man, it's almost like you have to be a scientist, man. Yeah. A color scientist. It's really, really intense.
So they go into certain details of an image and color this part of it and take this part out.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Those are the kind of things that people don't understand. Like they just think it just shows up that way.
No, exactly.
No, like look, this is the log is the start of it.
Yeah, the log is how the sensor captures the image. The Rec 709 is a base foundation, just to give you a general idea. And then the final is, you're working, everything is skin tones, bro. Your skin tones is, because that's a muscle memory color. So you really have to focus on your skin tones. Once you dial in your skin tones, everything kind of falls into place from there, But like, I thought that this was pretty good. I was very proud of the grade that I did here. And then I there's these other guys that I follow, I think Cullen Kelly and all that. Serious senior colorist, and you just see some of the stuff they do, man, and I feel like this,
Right? Yeah,
it's just amazing the stuff they do.
It's art in itself.
Yeah,
you have to have a good eye for that too.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's subjective, so
highly subjective. But I love coloring. And there's a strategic reason why I'm getting into coloring as well, because it's something I can transition to when maybe I don't want to carry heavy gear anymore.
I think back in the day too. DPs were highly involved in color grading. Like they didn't just shoot and then walk away like DPs do now.
Well, again, shout out to the greats. We were talking. I don't know when Da Vinci was. I don't know when the first digital coloring took place on a movie because everything was film. You burned the look. So one thing that's really cool is that back in the day, in the 80s and stuff like that, 90s, and all cinematographers prior to that, you would hire a cinematographer because of their signature lighting and their color palette. They were burning in their color on the film. That was it. Print it, and it's off. Whereas today, Janos, who did a Ready Player One, he's been working with Steven Spielberg forever. He was disappointed. He wasn't too crazy about doing Ready Player One because that was a heavy CGI movie, right? And he goes, I wasn't too happy with the fact that you come in with such a strong, strategic, well-planned color balance or whatever, and you give it to someone else, and they can just do whatever they want with
And they
it.
do something else with it, yeah.
Because you can stretch the digital file way more than what you could do with film, you know, back in the day. So we have options now. They can stretch the image so much. So when I see a movie now, Rick, and it looks beautiful, it's kind of defeating to the DP because you don't know what the original source footage looked like and how much they sprinkled some sugar on that in post to really, you know, the color palette could have been totally different.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the post work on that, you can do so many things with it. Now the film looks great, but I don't know. It takes away from the magic of
that's part of the magic, like you're saying, I think got lost from back then and now, is that there was intentions, there was, you know, ideas, they were creating something on set, and in post, you know, that back in the day would transfer into post, and then you would get it on the final product. Now it's like the script starts one way, you shoot it another way,
right,
and in post the movie's a whole nother thing now. So at the end, it's like this other thing, you know. But I think like with your projects that you've done, well, I mean, I guess minus this, but like the secret societies and whatever else, you take it from beginning to end, so it keeps that magic all the way through.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think more people, and of course it's just the industry, guys are just ready for the next thing, and then they're just cranking stuff out. So there's no real passion behind it. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but if you want to go crazy, man, get into color grading.
I try it here and there. I look at it. I go online and watch some videos, but I just see like, I think I'm getting to the point right now where I'm like, okay, do I want to keep learning more of this stuff? Because it's so much. It's so much.
That's a very good point. Like the film students that graduate from film school, I'm like, you know, they'll tell me, oh, yeah, I graduated from here. I'm like, listen, man, you never graduate from film school.
No.
That diploma that you have, that's nothing, bro. No. That's nothing. You're just starting.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been in the game for almost 20 years. I'm still learning. I'm going to be learning until the day that I die.
Same.
You know, there's always something new to learn.
Always something. What's going on here? The Urban Film Festival. Oh yeah, the movie won that, right?
Yeah. I do. I just really want to, you know, I always have to come back to Rich and Miasha on this, man. They, you know, I was very grateful for the opportunity. They found me on Instagram, you know, and it's been such a great relationship. And they're working on their movies has opened up so many doors for me. I'm so grateful for that opportunity. I can't thank them enough, you know. So we were, you know, this was just one of the other awards that they had won for the movie.
Nice. I was hoping it said Best Picture.
I
or Best
did.
Cinematographer or something. Cool. All right, let's see here. What's going on here?
This is just some of my stills work. My good friend Josh Lewis, his wife Nikki, and my good buddy Boricua Chris Alonso. They have like this cool like paranormal investigations and stuff like that. So I went out and just shot some marketing material for them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. It's what is it, a TV show?
He has a channel. It's like a paranormal channel, you know, Hope Paranormal. Yeah. So he does cool stuff. Good friends of mine. And I also shot some movies with them as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we have a lot of color grading stuff. Now, if you click on that one right there,
this one?
Yes, this is how OCD you get when you're getting into color. That's my Mac monitor, my Flanders Scientific monitor, my OC monitor, which I just bought. And then I have a smaller OC monitor and my iPhone. And what I'm attempting to do here is to color match all of them so that you have integrated color on all of my devices. So I see it looks okay. So it matches here. How's it going to look on an iPhone and stuff like that? That's what I say. When you're getting into coloring, man, it just starts to consume you. The OCD is just you want everything to match. I even have I know you see Rick and Morty in the back there, but I even manually dialed in my TV, so everything is a pretty good match.
That's great. Well, see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, man. You know, I love that. I love people who just sit and want to be great at their crafts. And even those little details, like unless you post this, no one's gonna know that you're
Right.
in there doing this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you got a great studio in there too. You know?
Yeah.
I
No,
love
thank
your
you.
space.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Have you been in there physically, or you just?
No, I went there. I think maybe once or twice
Oh,
during.
okay.
I think Secret Society 1. I think
Okay.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and the studio actually has it's been a great marketing tool as well for me to get work. You know, it just puts you at another level. You know, people know that you're serious.
Yeah,
you know, you're passionate.
Sure. Let's see here. This is on set.
Just a lot of I do a lot of talking heads. You know, a lot of interview stuff. That's my boy Raul in there.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the gigs that are the bread and butter, man, of the industry. You know,
What was this project of?
this was we're shooting some interviews for Kate Larson. She had just done a movie called Into the Spotlight. Phenomenal faith-based film. The quality of it was just great, and you know they shot that with like some Cook anamorphics and Aries and stuff like that. And I shot the pitch for them. They went and you know they pitched it around. You know they got some funding. You know to do something bigger. But they wanted to do like an EPK or something to promote that movie. So that's what we were doing there.
Nice.
Yeah, beautiful house.
Cool, man.
A lot of corporate BTS stuff.
Do you enjoy those?
The corporate, oh yeah, man, they're great. They're great.
They pay well.
Yeah. They pay well. They don't bother you. They don't tell you, hey, can you do it this? They trust you.
Yes.
You know, you go in and you do what you got to do. And, those are great, man. Those are great.
I love doing those. Okay, so what is this here?
So this was a short film that we did that I did for Lauren Levy. The director was Alan Darnay. A lot of people know Alan down here. Very good director. He's done a lot of stuff. And this was just kind of like a story based on the Holocaust. It was this was pretty intense for me, as you can imagine, due to the subject matter. But since we were working with a budget, the challenge as a filmmaker is how do I do this on the budget that I have? How do I cheat this and stuff? So Boxed was one of those projects where we had to find very creative solutions to execute some of the scenes that we wanted to do. It worked out great. It's won a lot of awards. I think I snagged like a best cinematography here and there.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. But again, man, small independent projects, filmmakers just trying to do their thing here in Miami,
Cool. And that image right there looks great.
Yeah. Oh, and that's Avi Hoffman. This was the first time I worked with Avi. Man, phenomenal actor, man. I love meeting great actors on different projects. Those are the people you remember for future stuff. I hope to work again with Avi one day. He's just a great actor.
Nice. Cool, man. Let's see here. Got some more set stuff.
A lot of Secret Society
I
stuff.
remember this.
It's Bobby Socks.
Bobby Socks. This picture was inspired by Bobby, right? Because of him wearing the socks all the time.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, our script supervisor is a good friend of mine, Bobby. So he has this thing where he shows up on set, and every day was just themed socks. That's him.
Yeah.
Even when he's not on set, that's just Bobby. So I gave him the nickname Bobby Socks. And so on the last day of shooting, we all commemorated him by all coming with like themed socks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what I mean when I say that,
Oh shoot, there I am right there.
Yeah, right there in the corner there. But this is what I mean about camaraderie on a film set. You get a good family. It's always important to get a good crew, and you as a producer, you know this. The importance of getting people to work together that gel together, bro, because you're going to be working 12, 14-hour days, sometimes longer, right?
Yeah.
And you're on 5th, 6th, 7th take, or something happened, or, there's always something happening on set, right? You're always troubleshooting something, but it's always good to manage people, putting people together that gel together, that are patient,
Mm-hmm.
that know how to work, that are very interpersonal. Man, if you don't have people skills in the film business, brother,
Oh my God.
peace
And
out.
there's so many people that don't have people skills.
You know what it is? There's something about the movie industry that fans egos of certain types of personalities.
Yeah.
And they're on set and they think that they can just bark at you and bark orders and stuff like that. Now, listen, son, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you want to get results, treat your people right, and they'll come through for you, you know, and beyond, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's keep going here. Some more cool stuff. I remember that day on the jet.
I would like to say, seeing these Secret Society photos, that one of the things I learned on this shoot was to light for long eyelashes.
Mm.
And that's a little detail as a cinematographer that you really don't think of. You know, they teach you beauty lighting and all that stuff and, you know, whatever. But something as simple as an eyelash can be a thing. Because for Secret, you know how it is, man. For Secret Society, it was all about the fashion, the wardrobe, the makeup, and it was amazing. Like, this was some of the best wardrobe, hair, makeup I had ever shot on anything that I have ever done. You know, shout out to Miyasha and her crew on that. But the eyelashes, man, they're really long and glamorous and stuff like that. So I had to be careful with my light placement, because it would you would see the shadows of their eyelashes just falling on their cheeks.
It's the first time I've ever heard that. Yeah. Heard somebody look at that detail.
Yeah. Oh, man, I look at all that stuff, man. You know, I'm editing the movie as well, so I'm looking at everything. I'm like, man, I got to take a note. You know, so lighting position for beauty, like, you know, for beauty lighting, the lighting is almost, you know, in front of the actor. You know, if you want a more moody lighting, you put the light to the side and stuff like that. But for Secret Society, it was a challenging and exciting project to shoot, because it's beauty but drama. You know, it was very dark as well. You know, so you had to implement beauty lighting along with some type of dramatic element into it, and so you kind of have to learn how to do the dance and how to balance it. But one of the things that I took away from that movie was how to light for the eyelashes. You know,
That's cool, man.
Yeah, one of the old greats, John Altman. What he used to do is he used to bring a light bulb on a stick, turn off all the lights, and just move the light around the actor's face, you know, and just kind of see what worked and what didn't. And that's how they did. And that makes a lot of sense.
Wow, yeah.
You know, so you pick up stuff like that from
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool idea. Let's go here. So this is your team here.
Yeah, man. So we were talking about, you know, gaffers and grips. You know, these are the guys that make the magic work. You know, this is Brian Earl was the gaffer. Anthony DiCario, Matt Green. Anthony DiCario, everybody loves Anthony DiCario because he's the guy that makes the coffee. Yeah. So he's got a little kit, you know, and listen, that's an asset on a set, man. You know, that's morale, you know, and when you least expect it, you smell the coffee in the background, you know, Anthony's hooking it up for the crew and stuff, and, you know, little things like that. But solid crew, man, you know, Brian and Matt, just solid guys, man. You know,
working with those guys, I never heard complaints from these guys. I've even Earl definitely cut his finger off.
Yeah, he did. And Earl is the safety guy. He's a safety guy. Listen, yeah. I'm on set with Earl. I hear him all the time telling his guys, "Hey, no, safety first, safety first, safety first." And listen, you know, so even being very, very careful, it doesn't mean that you'll never get hurt or injured on there. Whatever. Yeah. But even like that, Brian, you know, these are people that are very dedicated, passionate people that, you know, he busted his finger pretty bad on one of the days, you know.
But he was so cool.
And I said, hey, Brian, listen, man, you know, if you want to bow out, I understand, you know, we'll find somebody else. You're like, no, Anthony, I'm with you till the end. Yeah, like these people are hardcore, man. Mm-hmm. They take what they do very, very seriously.
Yeah. No, you can see that, man.
Yeah.
Both of those other guys too. With the work ethic and being there and just kind of just grinding it out, man.
Yeah.
I remember being on, when I was a grip, I worked on a couple of movies that it made me go, man, never want to do this again. But I respect the guys who do this every day because
You know,
it was like, whoo.
it's funny that you say that line because that's what I say at the end of every movie. When we wrap on every movie, the first thing I say to myself when I'm in my car is, I will never do this again. It's grueling.
So brutal, yeah.
It's grueling. The stress, the it's exhausting physical work, anxious. You go to sleep at night. How am I going to light this scene tomorrow? You know, but if you don't have that anymore, just tap out. You're done. You know, just because you're doing this for so long, you know, I've even though I've been doing this for so long, I'm still very nervous and terrified before I jump on a big project. You know, so much. You know, there's so much pressure on that. You know, delivering quality imagery on a time restraint. You know, I before I direct, I would like to work on a movie that would allow me to shoot just 4 pages a day. That's the challenges of being on independent stuff. You know, you're shooting 7, 8, 10 pages a day.
Yeah, man. It's
you know, and it's a good exercise. It keeps you on your toes, and you have to be hella prepared in those situations. You know, but there's something to be said that when you're shooting 4 or 5 pages a day, man, the quality of the movie just gets better.
Yeah, you know? Definitely. Because then you get all your angles that you like, and you get to light it the way you like.
You can take time with the performances of the actors.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's like I said, it's an art to it. You have to have patience, all of those things. Let's see here. What's this image here?
Just some stills, just some marketing for this artist. Her name is Janet. Very, very sweet lady. And she's like, hey, you know, I want to just do some, you know, we obviously had a quick conversation about the tone, the creative tone that she wanted for it, you know, so yeah, we did some gladiator vibes on this one. Very, you know, a little Mediterranean, but
it's beautiful. What do you shoot your stills with?
Man, I'm a Nikon guy, man. Nikon Z6.
I've never used a Nikon before.
Man, Nikon has some of the best colors, man, in the stills industry, man. Just beautiful colors right out the gate.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Nikon.
Cool, man. All right, let's keep going here.
A lot of corporate stuff, yeah.
What is this? Is it an M8? No.
This is a 1200 watt HMI. This used to be a workhorse back in the day, you know, film days and, you know, video as well. Workhorse. And when I bought it, LEDs had already started, you know, this light, when you bought it brand new, I don't know, maybe 10, 12, maybe $15,000 or something. I bought it used for like $3,000. And now you can buy an LED like an Arri 1200 watt for the same price brand new, and it's better.
It's better.
It uses less power.
Dude, it's incredible. the way the industry has shifted over to this LED.
It's great, man. It's great.
Oh my God. Like, I remember like one of the projects that I did where I was a grip on, and we had an 18K on set.
Oh yeah.
We had an 18K, a 5K. Might have had 2 18Ks. And I remember using the super crank to crank that thing up.
Oh yeah.
And get it up there, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
And then there was one time we was behind the house, lighting me and the gaffer, and we were like cranking this thing up, and he's cranking it, and then I look away for a second, and he's cranking it, and I don't know what he did, but all I hear is like this loud, and I look up, and that 18K was just coming down, and we flew out the way, and that thing was hit.
Wait, your 18K, the one that you were
the
on?
one that him and I were cranking this thing up. Oh, wow. I just look away for a second, but he had his hand on the knob as he was cranking it away, and I'm just standing there helping him. And I don't know what happened, if the thing broke or something, and that 18K came coming down. And if nobody knows like the size of this thing, it's probably like the size of this huge, table. Like,
it's two people easily to lift it, right?
Yeah. It took 2 people to lift it up, and it was like stuff like that. I remember on that same set, we had 2 space lights on a T-bone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the director was like, "Oh, we're gonna shoot it over here." So we built this thing on one side of the house, and bring it up, and it's heavy.
Yeah,
bring it up. Then the DP comes back out. "Oh no, guys, we gotta he's switching the angle. We're going to go on this side. So now we have to take this thing down, bring it back over on the other side, build it. Halfway getting it up, he comes back, oh no, he changed his mind. He want to go back. It was like stuff like that. I was like, dude, I can't do this. Because you're not dealing with like small stuff, you know? Like, these things are heavy. They can touch your fingers.
You can die.
You can
man.
die.
That stuff falls on your head, man. You know, you're out. Forget it.
Yeah, it's insane.
But this goes back to your point previously about storyboards.
Yeah.
You know, when you see storyboards, you know where you have a plan for the day.
No, this guy had no stories. He just had a script in his head. And he was just off the whim. It was,
But let me tell you, man, that is, and that's something that I've learned throughout the years is, you know, to really look out for your guys, to really look out for your team. You know, there may be situations in which the lighting is acceptable, but I'll get my guys out on time. Or do I run over overtime and do a shot that I really think is going to make the image go over the top, you know? Mm-hmm. And you kind of got to do that dance, you know? And sometimes you're like, you know, let me just look out for the guys, you know, and be as well as prepared so as to not run them ragged, man. It's a tough job.
It's a tough job, man. That's why like I said, I have the utmost respect, especially me going through it and taking that time. Because that's something I did throughout my whole career is I would take time to work in every position. Like I've been in almost every position. I've worked in every one, and not just for like a job or two. No, I'd worked. Like I would spend like a year just when I'd gaff for like maybe 2 years. I would just sit there and I would work, and because I wanted to understand it, I wanted to learn it.
All the elements,
you know. So now that I'm in my position now, not only I want to be a good producer, good director, good writer, but I also want to be a great collaborator. You know, I want to understand, and you know, I don't want to just say make a decision and not care that these guys have to do all this work.
And that helps because as a producer, if you don't know how long a shot is going to take,
exactly,
the setup of a certain scene is going to take, you're going to schedule, you know, something that's 10 pages and you're going to try to schedule that for like a 4-page day or something like that. And it's just unreasonable.
You got to be able to plan for it.
So now let me ask you, when you were learning all these different departments, was it with the goal in mind of saying one day you wanted to be a producer, or it just happened to be that way?
No, from when I first got into this business, I always knew I wanted to write, direct, and produce.
Oh, okay.
Like I always knew that's what I wanted to do. It was when I was in school, my directing teacher, I went to Full Sail. His name was, I forget his last name, Thomas. He told me, he was like, because I was directing all the shorts. I was directing or I was writing and I was doing that. And he was like, if you want to become, you know, big in this industry or, you know, get to where you want to go as a director, producer, writer, you should learn all the departments, because as a producer, if you know these things, you'll be a better producer. As a director, you'll be a better director. And as a writer, you'll know how, if you understand these things, you'll know how to write for it.
Oh, that's right.
So
that's right.
I took his advice. I said, okay. So I would still write. Like when I first got out, I wrote a short and I would shoot. But I ended up PAing, then camera assistant, then art department, this and that, and gaffing. And I would just do all the different aspects of it, you know?
Yeah.
And it made my talent better, and it also helped me, you know, connect with people. You know, I've been one of those guys where I was very resourceful in a lot of situations where, like there was a movie I was working on where I was the BTS guy, right? I was doing all the BTS stuff, and then the AC was messing up, and they were like. And I hear the producer, and I see the guy messing up. And I had nothing to do. You know, the crew, everybody knew everybody. And then the director's getting pissed at him or whatever. And then the producer, who knew me, I hear him coming into the room. And the minute he comes in, he goes, "Where's Ricky?" And I run and I go, "No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to do that to the
upstage
AC."
That guy, yeah.
You know what I mean? I really didn't want to, so I hid. I went in the bathroom and hid.
Wow.
I was like, I don't want to do it to that guy, right? And he kept coming around, and somebody saw me going and said, "Oh, Rick's in the bathroom." So he comes in, he was like, "Rick, man, I need you. I know you. This guy's messing up. The director's pissed." And I was like, "Man, I can't do that to him, man. I don't want to do that." He's like,
bro, you know what? That's commendable, Rick.
Yeah, I said, "Don't make me do that."
That's commendable, bro.
Yeah, but he was like, "But you know, it's business." And I was like, And I went to the guy and I was like, look, man, I'm sorry, bro, but they're asking me to do this. And he was like, no, it's cool. I know it wasn't cool because him and I were like cool on set.
Yeah.
He was telling me how, oh yeah, I'm going to call you. I'm going to, like, you know, there's conversations where you're like, hey, I got this other gig. After I, you know, pulled focus. And the thing was, it's not that he was a bad focus. It's that the director had this really long shot that he was doing through.
So it was
like
timing. So
it was a timing
hits.
thing. And, you know, you had to set your marks. And And the crazy thing is not that the guy was young and unexperienced. He was actually an older guy. He was older than me. He's been in the business for many years. I think what the problem was is his vision was going a little
makes sense.
A little bad.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But you know, sense of pride, you don't want to admit that your vision is just not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, it's work.
You know what I mean?
You're trying to pay bills, man. You're trying to survive.
He didn't want to admit to that, and everybody could see that.
Now these young bucks with their clean vision, you know.
So I come in on the first one and I hit it every mark, boom, 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 and then the director goes, "Yeah, get him out, Ricky, you're gonna be the ace." And I was like, "Oh," but I said, "Look, we got to get another guy. Like I don't want to because then now."
You'll be that guy.
The camera off, and all these guys they're gonna give me the hassle now, you know, because I got their guy out.
But listen, you know what? But that's how it is in this industry, man. If you have talent and you're able, you're gonna work.
Yeah.
You're gonna work, man. The industry doesn't care if you got bills to pay, how long you've been in the industry, who can do the job.
Yeah.
And you know, we're doing a movie, man. You know, this is business. Can you hit your focus marks? Can you set up the lighting within an hour? You know, can you make decisive decisions, you know, and keep the morale up and stuff and save us money on production, you know?
Yeah. And we were behind because of that. Because the director had to I think he might have did like 5 or 6 takes of the same thing. And it was just it was like a long shot. And he just got frustrated. And, you know, and I did that. And actually that's happened a couple more times where people called me up to.
Yeah.
And then, and I trust me, I never want to do it because I always feel bad, you know?
Yeah.
I also, because I understand that, you know? But like you said, it's the industry, and when they want you to do it, they want you to do it, you know?
Listen, man, at the end of the day, it's all about that movie. It's all about the project, man. Because at the end of the day, we were talking about this. We can look at a movie and we'll be like, wow, man, that was great. You were entertained. You forgot about the world. You forgot about the problems of your life for about an hour and a half. And you have no idea the amount of problems that they had to confront in that movie. You have no idea what budget restraints or constraints. You don't know if the production van broke down one day and, you know, or the lens broke or something like that. We don't know. All you see is the final product, and that's what matters.
That's what matters, yeah. And the people made decisions to make sure it turned out that we like hard decisions like
that's right.
I was just talking about. So
that's right.
All right, let's keep going here. And you know, we're not gonna get to touch on everything, but you know, the things that what was this?
That's Richard Donner, man. Goonies, Superman, you know.
Love Goonies.
Yeah. That's the guy. You know, he was the director. You know, so I was really turned on to Richard Donner after Superman. You know, he's the one that says, you know, he goes, I have to make you believe that a man can fly. You know, and he did. You know, this was back in the day, no CGI. This was cables and stuff like that. And that movie is still one of the hallmarks, one of the best superhero movies out. I think my top 3 would be Superman, 1977. All my friends rag on me because I always say this all the time. 1977, Superman, The Crow, and Blade.
Oh, he did The Crow?
No, he didn't do The Crow, but I'm just saying, just generally speaking, out of all my favorite superhero movies, he's the director to one of those. No, Alex Proya directed The Crow, and the guy who shot that is one of my favorite cinematographers, Darius Wolski. Oh man, that guy's phenomenal, man. Love that guy. But yeah, those are my top 3 favorite superhero movies. But yeah, Richard Donner, man, did great movies, man.
Have you ever shot on film?
You know, I did. When I finished film school. I did a ska movie. We shot it at 16 millimeter. This was in Chicago, black and white. That was the only time that I believe I shot on film, because we were already transitioning into you know, eventually we were going to digital. But back then, when I finished film school, you couldn't go out and rent a Blackmagic or anything. Dude, you had to go out and rent a film camera, or it was either that or a VHS camera or something like that.
Yeah.
The DVX 100.
DVS, yeah, I owned one of those.
Bro, man, that was forget it. That was a game changer.
Oh man, I shot my first short film out of film school on that, and it was incredible.
First 24p camera.
Yes.
That camera was revolutionary, man. It changed everything, man. It really flooded the market and inspired and empowered a lot of young filmmakers who couldn't go out and rent an area, a camera, film cameras and stuff like that. So
yeah, because you could shoot on it, digitize from it. Basically it was an all-in-one type of deal.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. I love that camera. That was my mother. Oh man, like if I have a great mom, man. My mom, when I first got out of film school, when I got out of film school, man, my mom believed in me so much. I don't even know. I got to ask her one day. She got $10,000 and gave it to me.
Wow.
When I got out of film school. And she told me, take this and invest it into your craft. And
wow, that's awesome.
I was able to buy my DVX 100.
Oh, there you go.
I invested in my first short film, which was called Luga, which ended up playing on BET.
Oh, wow.
There was a competition and I submitted it and ended up playing every Monday night on BET for 2 months.
Wow, that's awesome.
All from her just saying, you know what, go do your thing, man. Just,
That's awesome.
Oh, man. My mom, she's been my biggest, supporter and
that's awesome.
Helped me till this day. Like, if I'm ever needing anything, even on set, she'll be like, let me do the craft service. I'll make the food.
That's awesome.
She's just always there, man. I love my mom for that, man.
That's awesome, man. That's
great. She gave me my start for sure. Even when I told her, I used to be an architect. I wasn't an architect, but I was in architecture. I was a draftsman for a company. And when I told her I'm going to leave the company to go be a filmmaker, not one time did she go, why?
Wow.
She's like, okay, if that's what's going to make you happy.
That's
I
right.
think you could do it. Go ahead.
There you go.
I never got any pushback.
There you go.
So that's great. All right, let's see here. Oh,
and that's
talking about family.
God, man, that's.
How old is she?
She is 14.
14.
Yeah, that's my nugget, man. That's my life right there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I talk about the importance of family, being, I do my daddy-daughter dates and we go on, we just talk about life, and you're reminded of, just because you're reminded of how deep, kids can be. We've had some deep conversations about life, philosophy. We talk about God. We talk about school. We talk about, boys, we talk about all that stuff, and it's, my heart wells up, when I do it, because I'm listening to my daughter and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Such, it's such a rich experience, raising kids, and just, I love it, man.
Yeah. I
love being a dad. I love being a family man. She's the one that helped me build the studio, my color grading suite and stuff like that. Nice. And I always go out of my way to show her and to include her in all of that, so she can get a taste to see. I don't tell her, hey, I want you to become a filmmaker and stuff like that. I expose her to the things that I'm passionate about, because that's what I want her to see. Chase the things that you're passionate about. I don't, I'm not out here trying to tell her, hey, I want you to find the job that makes you the most money and stuff like that. So, find something that you really, really love. I will support you 200%.
Yeah. She needs to see you go from, I'd like to do this, to making it happen. You know, if they see that, they can apply that to anything that they do.
Listen, Rick, let me tell you, man. I count myself very, very blessed, brother. I love what I do. I love what I do, man. I have such a deep passion for it. Filmmaking in general. With a focus on cinematography. I woke up after every gig. When I get in my truck, I just thank God, man, Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for this gig. Thank you because I'm able to do something that I love. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people can say that, No. I'm able to feed my family. And the reason why I love what I do is because I don't do it every day. I'll have a project, you shoot, you're maybe a month, some projects are 2 months, whatever. Some are just a few days, whatever. There's a lot of pockets in between where you can rest and recollect your thoughts and re-energize, and then you're excited to do the next project. But having family and sharing that experience with my daughter is very, very important for me.
Has she shown interest in the business?
Yes, she has. Right now she's like really into anime. She's into stories. She's into writing.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk a lot about that stuff. But she's definitely on the creative side. She likes to draw.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So my daughter's 8, right? And you said your daughter's 14. 14?
Yeah.
How different is she now than when she was 8?
Very different. Very different. My daughter, when she was much younger, cute and bubbly, daddy, whatever, stuff like that. Now she's going through a little bit of an emo phase and just kind of more introverted, I think she gets that from me, because I'm kind of like that as well. I'm not a big people person. I like to stay home. I'm an introvert, but yeah, you see that shift,
There's a shift.
Yeah.
Okay. But she's still like attached to. I'm asking because I'm wondering when my daughter's 14, I love how our relationship is.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn, I hear people say, well, by the time they get to this age, it kind of changes. And they're,
because my wife has a daughter from a previous relationship, and she would tell me, so she had a heads up already. She's like, listen, around 13, 14 years old, that's when you kind of lose them, but they come back later on in life and stuff like that. But with Haley's, I've always been there every step of the way, man. Our bond is very close. And I'm glad to say that at 14 years old, my daughter still holds my hand, in public and stuff like that, So I value that. But that's because of the investment of time and love. They remember that, brother. They remember that. And they'll treasure that.
Yeah,
they'll always carry that in their heart.
I think as a parent, when you provide a safe space for your child to be able to be around you and be themselves through their good times and their mistakes and bad times, maybe when they get older, they'll know that when things get whatever, this is who I can go
That's
to.
right.
This is a safe space. This isn't somebody who just no all the time and kind of like, or wasn't there.
It's tough sometimes because, when we have the boys talk and stuff like that, I gotta,
Oh my God. I dread that day. Oh my God. Funny enough, my daughter, she's 8. She's well aware. She'll come and tell me things that's going on in their classes at school. I'm like, baby, that's none of your concern right now. You don't have to worry about that. You got to play. What I try to do is I try to tell her, look, you're 8, or even when she was 6, like, okay, you got to remember, if you do everything right now, when you get to 18, when you get to 16, you won't have it to do. So you better save some for later. I tell her that. So I tell her, you could enjoy being your age right now, because when that time comes, you'll be able to do those things when you get. But if you try to do everything right now,
right?
Especially I hear, well, I have a girl too, so I know they try to be older than what they are. They always, and I try to say, no, babe, just enjoy, have fun now, enjoy this, do it this, and you'll trust me, you'll get to do that later.
Exactly.
You'll get to go out, you'll get to do those things. Because when they see their older siblings, or I don't have any other kids, but cousins and stuff like that, they were, why did they get to? And I'm like, no, babe, you get to do that. Just wait till you get to that age.
Yeah.
I think when you just let them know that, you're not shut out from it, you just got to wait for it.
And as dads, let me ask you a question. Have you had this feeling that you want to convey, you would wish that society as a whole, that parents, when it comes to young men, that they raise their young men right?
Oh, for sure.
And that's a fear that I have, with being a dad, and stuff like that, because, the situations that we've experienced just in life, you're like, I'm glad that my mom raised me right. She raised me to respect people, and there's a value in that. And dude, man, here in Miami, things can get kind of crazy out there, and
especially for kids at their age right now. Like these kids are going wild.
Yeah, man.
You can't, and what I've learned is you can't change the world.
That's right.
You can teach yours how to deal with
That's
it.
right.
And how
That's
to
very
live in it.
critical. That's right.
You know, so that's what I do with her. Is like I can't change these kids and these boys. Although the boys in my family, I try my best to like, hey, look, man, you gotta. And in me as a father, like even till now, when I'm going out with my daughter, I open the door for her.
Yeah, that's right. I do the
I
same.
open the car door for her.
You set that precedent, brother.
My daughter will walk over to the car and she'll just stand there, you know, because she knows, oh, this is daddy always in it. I do these things so that when she's getting older and she does get into, okay, she's going to start dating, whatever, there's just certain things, basic things that she just knows. Because my dad loves me, so he did these things. So
yeah,
when she starts looking for whoever she wants to date,
she has that gold. She has that gold standard already.
Exactly. Like, look, they got to at least have these basic things because you just got this.
Listen, I told my daughter, I said, listen, be prepared for when you bring the first guy to the house. I'm going to meet him like Darth Vader did at the end of what's that movie? I forgot where he's at the end of that long dark corridor and the lightsaber comes on. Like, that's me, son.
Yeah.
So just be prepared for that.
For sure. Cool, man. Well, and I'm a family man, so I love that. I love that as well. Oh, go ahead. You was gonna say something?
Yeah. Talking about family, I remember that. If I could go back in time, if you're a young guy or young lady, and you're thinking about becoming a cinematographer, becoming a filmmaker, what would I wish I could have told my younger self? What kind of cinematographer do you want to be? What kind of work do you want to do? Because if you're clear on that from the get, it's going to make a world of a difference. Because if you're a person of faith, what kind of work are you going to be taking in the industry? Mm-hmm. Because if you're only going to take faith-based stuff or whatever, it's going to be tough, man. Yeah. It's a lot of bologna sandwiches, man.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a DP that only is selective about certain scripts, and you want to go from glory to glory in your script, and you say, I want the next project has to be bigger and better and bigger and better. If you want to be that guy, you're going to need a lot of bologna sandwiches too, especially here in Miami. So there has to come some type of realization of what kind of DP, what kind of filmmaker do you want to be? Do you want to be a working DP, where you're going to take gigs that you're not too proud of, but they pay the bills, and it's going to let you invest in more gear so that you can do the films that you want to do, So, talking about family and stuff like that, that's why I was bringing up this subject, because those things are really important to kind of be aware of when you're starting off in the business, because if you're not clear on that, brother, you're going to lose your way, or you might get, discouraged and stuff like that. So, I found that those were important questions that I found later on in life. But once you find your groove, you'll be good. You got to just find your balance.
And how long have you been married?
16 years, man. Going on 16 years.
So you've been married just about as little. You've been working in the industry, kind of growing in it while you were married, right?
Yeah.
But you were dating before the 16 years. So I'm guessing you and your spouse have been together.
Right, 2 years. Right.
So it was like 18 years.
Yeah,
but just about as long as you've been in the industry.
Yeah.
I remember myself feeling worried about being in relationships or being in, any of that kind of stuff when I was first coming in.
Yeah.
But you were able to do that. How, what didn't scare you about being in a relationship while pursuing your dream in this business?
Well, the good thing is that I was already in the business when we met, when we started dating and stuff. I'm not a really big party guy. I was never a buck wild guy. I was, pretty much raised in the church, in my younger years, that had a strong impact on my life, so it wasn't that bad. I wasn't out there like, I'm on the shoot, I'm going to be gone for 2-3 months or whatever, stuff like that. We were always able to make it work. There were a lot of lean years in the beginning, brother. A lot of lean years. There were years, when the wife's salary was what holding us together. But things got better. Things got better throughout the years, and
So it helped being in a relationship.
oh yeah, oh for sure, dude. Listen, shout out to my wife Nancy. We are totally different people. She, the whole left brain, right brain, So I'm a very deeply creative, deeply emotional, deeply spiritual person, and my wife is more she's more mathematical, more pragmatic, more stable. Dude, my credit was terrible. My wife. And dude, she helped me. She helped me get my act together.
Wow,
She helped me get my credit together. Helped me our finance together. We built something great. Throughout the years. And she's a financial analyst. So she's
even better.
Yeah. She's so she's great with finance. With managing money and stuff like that. And dude, I'd be a hot mess. I'd be a hot mess. Because I'm a more emotional person. I make decisions based on emotions and. That's just how I am. But she's not like that. So there's, obviously there's moments when you have disagreements and stuff like that. But for the most part, man, it's been great. She has definitely made me a much better man than one before I met her.
That's amazing, man. Yes, that's some of the advice I wish I got when I was first coming in, because I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified of like.
And rightfully so, brother.
I was terrified of like pursuing my dream and then having to, because I'm one of those people, once I say, this is it, this is what I'm going to do. Like when I decided this is what I was going to do, for better or worse, I was going to stick through it. And I know I'm the same way when it comes to a relationship. The minute I say,
so what was your fear?
That I wasn't going to be able to
commit to a relationship because of your work?
No. Commit to my work because of the relationship.
Oh, gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Because I know if I'm with someone, like I'm going to be with them. I'm going to, when they need me, I'm going to be there. Right. Yeah. And then if they call me and say, I'm going to drop everything and I was like, damn, so and I know I'm like that. So then I'm like, then I want to pursue this. And if I'm doing this and I'm on set and someone calls me and my girl calls me and like, hey, I'm going to drop everything. Like,
yeah.
I did have, like in my earlier days, well, at some point, like me and my daughter's mom, like we were so great in the beginning, and I was literally on set with earbuds down with the headphones. We didn't have earbuds at that time. Headphones going down and then on set talking to people while she's in my ear, and I had to all day talking to her. Whatever she was going through at the time, and I was like splitting myself between these two worlds all the time. And I knew in the very beginning, I was like, man, I can't, I don't want to do this. And then when I got into it, it was hard. There's a lot of times that I lost focus, because, when things are great, okay, everything's great. But if something's going wrong, not necessarily between us, but if anything's going on in her life,
right,
I still got to be there. Right. And I always felt bad because I don't think in the beginning too, at some point I had to tell people I'm working. Because I used to say, what are you doing? Oh, I was traveling to this country. I was, at this mansion shooting this thing. And they're like, what? Oh, I was by the, and they like, people couldn't get that it was work.
Oh, right. They think you're having fun.
They think I'm having fun.
Right.
So I had to start saying work. I had to start using the word work. That way I didn't have to explain too much. But so when I would come home or I would come around family or I would, get around friends and stuff, everyone had, for the most part, complaints or like, oh man, at work, I can't, I'm so excited to be home. Like everybody was like ready to be home or go grab beer. And me, I was like, I want to get back to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was talking about how, I was having this great time. And it was so it felt weird, you know what I mean? To be in that space because, I wouldn't say I'm an empath, but I feel for people.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean? We've had this discussion before. Where we're on the same boat. On the same boat as far as the empath thing. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so I could feel like
you feel people's energy deeply.
You guys are talking bad about what you're doing while I'm praising what I'm doing, or I'm around this celebrity, or I'm around this, or you know what I mean? So
let me ask you now we're talking about that. What, in your opinion, Rick, what is it about movie making that makes us, be in this environment that's high pace, high stress. Why do we do that? We can say that we love it and stuff like that, but why do you think it is that we are so under the spell of movie making?
That's a tough one to answer because I don't know if everybody has the same reason, right? Because I think some people in any business, I think there's people who are passionate about any industry. You'll find people passionate about every industry, but then there's people who are passionate about there's people who are money makers. So they can be in any industry, and as long as it's making money, they deem themselves passionate about it. But then you have people who love you can be a business person and love making the money, but you just created this keyboard.
Right.
You sat down and invented this keyboard.
That's it. Yeah. The creation aspect.
The creation aspect of it, you create. So yeah, you want to make money, but your passion is in the fact that I created this keyboard. And I think that's where I'm at with this. Is of course I want to make money and I would love to be a millionaire and all of this other stuff, but I can't, I could easily say, oh, you know what? I have friends who are millionaires who are doing well. I could be like, tell me what you're doing. Let me go sit in your office or tell me how to create an office like that so I can be a millionaire too. I can do that. But the only passion there is the check at the end of the day.
Right.
But punching those numbers.
But if you were forced to do something else that's not film production or anything that involved in film, what would that one thing be?
Die.
And you know what? That's true.
See it.
That's true. That's so true. Because you would die.
It would have to be something I would have to be creating something.
Yes.
I can't see just me just going to, let me go punch in this clock all day just so I can get this check. It's not. Like when I was in architecture, I was a draftsman. And I love the drafting aspect of it. I used to draw. I've done units, whole community units, and turned them around. And then, of course, I was getting paid well. And then I would look at the building and it stopped. I would go to the site after it was built, and my joy of it would stop there because that thing just sat there. There was no action after that. Whereas in this, you create a project, you create a movie, even a music video, short, whatever it is, it lives on.
That's right. That's right.
Someone else is going to watch it, and you can sit back and see someone else's reactions to it,
and it's there forever. It's what you produced. Exactly.
And realistically, no one can change it.
That's right.
Like The Sound of Music, it can change where it's being played, but the art itself will stay exactly
it's enduring. Same. It's enduring.
No one's going to come in and say, well, now I own it. Let me change the color grading. Now I own it. Let me change the actors out. But when you design a building, a new owner can come by and say, oh, I want to change the color.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, let me redo the interior.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Good art is good art. It's enduring, man. That's why there's movies that that are made in, there was a renaissance in the 70s, man, with movies. And there's movies that from the 70s, 80s, 60s, whatever, that are still phenomenal and still relevant, today. Mm-hmm. I just sometimes wonder what kind of movies today are those enduring movies.
It's very little.
Can you think of, I'm sure there are, but right off the top of my head,
Well, I would say one of the most recent that I saw that I watched, and I was like, and I actually ended up watching it a good 4 or 5 times, and it's because it just made me feel. It made me. I enjoyed it. I could see the artistry in it. I could see the thought process behind it. I could see that someone or these groups of people sat back and just wanted to create. Now, it's a version of it was a filmmaker who created something that you can see that they were inspired by another filmmaker, which the filmmaker that person was inspired by, that I believe was Quentin Tarantino, right? Love Quentin Tarantino because he's one of those guys till this day. He takes his time. He's a craftsman. He really sits down and...
Yeah, he doesn't do a movie just to crank it out.
No. He wants it to be great. He wants it, and he wants his DNA in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the movie, The Harder They Fall.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen that one.
You got to see The Harder They Fall. When you watch it, you're gonna go, okay, I can see this filmmaker was inspired by Quentin Tarantino. But beside, you know how people rip off certain things off of
Sure.
other filmmakers. Everybody does it, to be honest with you.
Right.
But they'll pick, you know, this thing and okay, it's this cool shot, and they put the shot in there, or they'll get this angle, which is fine. But this guy, if I don't know if Quentin Tarantino ever saw it, but if he did, hopefully I'm hoping he would look at it and go, damn, he did good. Like he I can see that I'm in his work.
Oh, gotcha.
But he didn't, it wasn't like let me just steal this shot.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
But definitely inspired by it.
No, yeah. You feel Quentin Tarantino throughout the whole thing, but he did it very well. You get what I'm saying? It's
he
like
executed it.
He
well.
executed very well, and he told a great story, and you know what I mean?
And let me tell you that is the thing. That word execution is what separates the dreamers from the doers, man.
Yes.
Because you can have, filmmakers that, they're writing a story and they see it in their minds and stuff like that. Man, dude, your talent is your ability to execute a vision, man. Yes. And that's a thing, man. It's a very challenging thing. You have to know how to technically wheel things. You know how to creatively wheel things and mash them together, and to bring forth something well executed. Dude, even a bad movie, I still applaud them because they got it done.
Yeah.
Even the bad movies, the amount of work that maybe the story wasn't that great, but it looked good, it sounded great, whatever. If you're making a movie that's not terrible, congratulations, man. Yeah. You did it, Yeah.
I mean, making a movie, now, don't get me wrong, bad movie, like you said, bad movies, you have to give them kudos too, because they actually got up to make a movie. That's right. Making a movie is not easy.
That's right.
It is not an easy task, and it's not even just from the not making money part. If your movie doesn't do well, it's the making the movie, the process of making, because you're dealing with a group of.
It's a small army, man.
And you got to get all these people on the same page, and a lot of times they're not on the same page with you, or everybody's not on the same page with each other, and you're trying to get a 20 people, 30 people, however many people to align for just an image on the screen.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And to execute that is very.
And brother, that's where our satisfaction comes from at the end of the day. As a cinematographer, as a producer, that's where our satisfaction comes from. The results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being able to do that. Let me see. Okay, so you see, you have so much more we could go through. But we're nearing the end here. So what I would like to do is something I call Russian scrollette.
Okay, let's do it.
Where I'm just gonna scroll fast. You're gonna look away, and then you'll tell me stop, and then you'll tell me left, middle, or right, and we'll pick that. We'll just touch on that. Okay.
All right.
Hold on. And
are you scrolling?
Go.
And stop. And right.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. What we got here?
Oh, so these are just some samples of talking heads. I do a lot of talking heads. So whenever I'm able to do some nice talking heads in a dope environment, because everything is really the location. The location has so much production value, and this is from my boy Tavares. This is his company, Beverly Boy. I've been working with them for years, many years. And, I've relished that relationship, and, dude, he's done very well. And, so I still come out and I've been working for him for a long time. So that's a solid relationship. We're talking about relationships in the industry and stuff like that. So this was like some talking heads that I did for his company. This was particularly special for me because it's a video production company. So I wasn't just out shooting corporate heads for, I'm shooting content for a professional video production company. Nice. That makes me feel nice, And some good people. That's Gordon, one of the producers I work with a lot, real solid dude. So yeah, that's a breakdown of what that post was about. But I do a lot of BTS corporate stuff because the corporate stuff fills all the gaps. All the gaps. For 2023, man, I'm slated to do 3 movies. That's wow. Yeah, man.
Amazing.
It is amazing, dude. Like, you know, like here in Miami, bro, you don't, that's unheard of, you know?
Yeah.
So, but fortunately, you know, the corporate stuff fills in the gaps in between. And, you know, you'll, if you're not making movies, you'll be all right if you're just doing corporate stuff.
Others, yeah.
But
Sure.
everybody wants to do the, you know, narrative stuff in the movies.
Now, do you think a lot of people, and because if people pursue this more, they'd make more money than pursuing making movies on a regular basis.
As far as shooting, you talking about shooting corporate?
Yeah, corporate versus shooting, like getting into film, movies, and stuff like that. Like if you're gonna get more work doing this than making movies.
Oh, right.
Right. But why do you think people don't do this more and pursue the movies more?
You know, me personally, I rather enjoy shooting corporate stuff. I do. I like, you know, lighting interviews. I like going to, because most corporate clients, they give you a really nice location. That's half the battle, you know? So I get excited about lighting nice locations, you know? So me personally, I do enjoy shooting corporate stuff, but I think there's a creative element to it. You can only do so much on a corporate level. So I think that maybe that's why people gravitate more towards feature films. Man, feature films, man, the gloves are off, you know, where you're pursuing greatness. You want to do great things, you know. So I think that's it. You know, Ridley Scott had his, you know, he was formed in the metal, you know, in the fires of corporate America before he was, you know, before he did Blade Runner and all that stuff. He was doing tons of, you know, high-end commercials.
And stuff. Yeah. I think he's got like over 100 or some crazy number.
Oh yeah. If you, and there's, I forgot which company it was, but it's on YouTube somewhere if you look for it. You can actually see the commercial that he did that was leading up to Blade Runner. So it was a lot of elements from that commercial, I guess, that he saw, because he talked about how he used the corporate world to play and to practice, you know, and to get his to make his transition. And if you look at that commercial, it's Blade Runner. All of it is Blade Runner.
All right, cool. Let's keep going. All right, let's do this one more time. You ready? And go.
And stop. Middle.
Okay. Oh,
there we go. Is that Jamal? That's Jamal, right?
That is Jamal. Jamal Hill.
Man, this brings back so many awesome memories, man. You know, let me tell you, Erica and Reina had. I remember all of us when we were working on this was the first Secret Society. You know, we had no idea that the movie would get 5 million views, you know, make it up to what in top 5 Amazon, you know, when this was Mia's first legit movie, you know. You don't want to see my first movie, Rick. You know what I mean? You don't want to see my first short or whatever, you know. It's you know, for her to come out at the gate like that. And but I do remember being on the set on a couple of days, and me and Raul, we would talk about it a lot, like, you know, like we were like, you know, man, it seems like there's something here, you know? And this was Reina's first movie ever, right?
Movie, yeah.
Man, just phenomenal, man. Just the chemistry between those two. I mean, Erica was just great. It was just so many good memories on this movie, man. And then there's my black magic, as always.
And in the scene, you know, it was a candy store or something like that, cookie store?
Yeah.
In Doral.
Yeah.
The setting up for this scene, what was your approach here with, like, is, you know, the camera is, you know, facing the doorway, you know, you got all of that. Like, for a young cinematographer, like, explain what was your thought process here?
Well, typically the way it works is it's funny because you go to film school and you see all these YouTube tutorials and you see all these people that you follow, and they, you know, they give you all these, you know, this is how you do it, and everything is so planned out and blah, 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 this and that. Let me tell you, man, the reality is on independent films, a lot of the times is you showing up, grabbing the director, walk me through the shot. That's how I do it. That's how I've always done it. And I'm used to that, you know? And so in a situation like this, you know, obviously we did a location scout prior to, you know, you have a general sense. But there was a gaffer who taught me this phrase, and this mantra has stuck with me ever since. Block, light, shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. If you can keep it that simple, you'll stay focused. Block the scene with the director and the talent, mark it, let them loose to hair, wardrobe, and all that stuff, and then you light it, and then you shoot it. So for this one, one of the challenges that you always have to contend with is a lot of sun coming through the windows. So I believe we shot this. I think I used like the Intelitech Mega Light Cloth. We were able to get that kind of close for my far side key, and but that's one of the always a big challenge is combating a lot of sunlight coming in and being very strategic. And sometimes you don't have big lighting packages. How do I make this work? So one of the things that you can do, I'm going to give a little secret here, is if you don't have enough room, let's say you don't have enough light power. Let's say you have a light fixture, right? A 600D or something, or a 300 or something like that. But it's not strong enough to be in the shot, to give you what you need. So in order for you to get your key, your fill, or the value that you want, your light value, it would mean you bringing the light into the shot. So what you do is, if your lights are small, bring them in the shot. It has to be a still shot, though, a static shot. Mm-hmm. Bring it in, light your talent. Obviously, it's got to be in a part of a frame where you can crop out later. And then you take it out, and then you shoot the plate. And then in post, you can just crop out the light. And that gives you extra juice for using a light that doesn't have as much power.
Yeah.
So
wow. See, that's a great tip.
Yeah. So something like, and actually, you can light a massive scene, let's say a dark warehouse or something, right? You can literally shoot that with 2 lights. You light your key, your subject, right? Cut. And then you start painting the set with your light. You shoot a couple of frames with the light here. You cut. You move your bulb or your tube bulb, and then in post you just layer them all up and you stack them up, and then you can light the whole scene. Wow. Obviously, it doesn't work for everything, but if you're lock shots and stuff like that, you can pull that off.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. I think that's that what you just said. I never. Yeah. Never thought about that. Yeah. I don't even think I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
So that's a great tip there. Let's see. Excuse me. Yeah, you're just showing some shots of your. I was about to say your package, but let me not.
It's Raul Duncan.
Raul. We got to get Raul in here.
Yeah. Raul's been my guy.
Julio.
That's Julio. Julio was on the sound department in Moonlight.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool, man. Cool. All right. So what I want to do now is, do you remember what your first post was in here?
I think it was something about a Levi's shoot or some
Levi's shoot. Okay.
I think I don't remember.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start scrolling down to get to your first post. But in the meantime, while I do that, I'd like for you to tell me about, of course, most of your posts, or almost all your posts, are about your work. But what is it when you post these things? You even got a shot of your hard drive here and your slate and, just a lot of different aspects to what you do. But when you do post, what is it that you post to say? What is it that you're posting to put out there and tell people about yourself?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. You post to show people that you're working. People want to hire people that are working. They want to see that you're constantly busy. They want to see that you're doing different projects, that the range of your work is different. You're not just that guy, go to Anthony, he's a music video guy, or go to Anthony, he's this guy. I want to expand my skill set as much as possible to capture as much work as possible. So when I post, I do that in mind. I also post to try to convey a level, a brand, if you will, a brand of someone that's experienced, someone that's knowledgeable, someone that has produced, a lot of content, different types of genres, commercials, music videos, documentary, TV content, feature films, whatever. So, I like to convey that, so that when you come to my page, you say, oh man, this guy does a lot of stuff. He seems like a brand of value. Let me look into it, So that's That's what my intentions are.
Nice.
Oh man, this is taking me back, bro.
Okay. So this is your first.
That's my first post. Wow.
First post, right? Tell me about this.
Oh, this was a video that I volunteered to shoot for my daughter's school at that time, Assurance Satellite Learning Center. And so I shot this with a Canon C100, you know. So these are just some BTS, some screen grabs of the edit that I did for them. Wow, you're taking me back with this one, man.
And how did it turn out? Like, how did they like it?
Oh no, they loved it. It was a recruiting tool, you know, for future enrollment. So they really liked it. And my wife worked there because you know, Assurant is a big company. So they actually at that time they had a school in the company. So that's why my daughter went there, and that's how I got to say, hey, listen, you know, we're part of the parent, the parent council or whatever. So like, hey, listen, you know, I do video. Let me just, you know, can I do something for the school and stuff like that? So that's what happened. So obviously this was also to promote that I do corporate videos, you know, for schools, for whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, nice. Cool, man. So I mean, we've reached the end of the podcast. Well, there is something that's missing from all of this. And that's your Kanye West mask. You said you were going to show up with your mask. But so, I mean, before we close out, like, you know, it seems like, you know, that's like a crazy thing that's going on. And we kind of joked about it on text, but what is it like
it's, on one level, I'm from Chicago, you know, that's my boy, you know, a Chi-Town boy, whatever. I'm not I don't follow hip hop like that. I'm not a huge hip hop fan. I can't tell you what albums and stuff like that, you know, but everybody knows Kanye, you know, and at first, you know, when these statements were coming out, man, you're like, you know, man, what's wrong with him? Why is he doing that? And you get angry, you get triggered, right? But then you sit back and you're like, you know what, man, you know, this probably really is a mental health issue, you know. Maybe he's not being surrounded by the people that he needs to be surrounded by, you know, going through a divorce and not having your family, and then, you know, all of those things could really affect. I'm not one to speak on it. I don't know what the brother's going through personally and stuff like that. Whatever it is, man, you know, I hope he's able to find his way. You know, living in the social media realm and stuff like that, and, you know, being successful because you say something marketable, memorable, you know, that's the kind of the world we live in. You know, it's hard to tell, you know, is he being legit? Is he just doing this for notoriety? I don't know. Whatever it is, man, I really do hope the brother finds his way. I mean, like, what's your take on that whole situation?
I've thought about it a little bit.
You saw the Alex Jones interview, right?
Yeah. You know what it is? Well, I don't know what it is exactly, but my guess would be I like to relate everything down to its basic form, if that makes sense, right? When I see anything happening in any way, I like to say, well, what's the basis or what's the basic form of that? And what I see him going through, I would say, think about, I don't want to say a child, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm thinking of him as a child, but a child is easier because we have kids, right? If your kid, you love your daughter, I love my daughter, but we as parents, we have a way where we keep control of our kids and we put rules in place.
Loving guides.
With guidelines and certain things to stay within. Just like we live in a society where the government put certain guidelines in and certain things and rules in place. And you go to work, there's certain, in our business, there's certain, and everything, there's certain rules in place so that things can go a certain way or as smooth as possible. It limits the amount of all the bad things that could go wrong, right? But I feel like Kanye, just like a lot of other people, I'm a Sagittarius. We hate being controlled. We hate rules. But we also know how to follow them and certain things, right? So I understand the feeling of like someone not having power over you. But there is a reason for certain rules and certain parameters and certain guidelines, right? And I think Kanye fought to be outside of being controlled, and he can just be himself. And he was successful at that. But there's a level in anything where you go too far above it that you could lose your way. And I think because like you say, Kanye comes from Chicago, one of the craziest, roughest places. He comes from there, ends up at Rockefeller with street guys, Jay-Z, these guys are from the streets. He's around, basically, I don't even have to define what street guys are. You know what that is. And then he ends up creating his own and doing it. And he does all that while staying Kanye. Think about it. He still dressed the way Kanye wanted to do. He never started gangster rapping or doing all this other stuff, right? He stayed himself. When you do that, that's great. He got to a certain level where he was there and like he could say anything and sell anything and whatever, right? But I think he lost his way because now he was in a space of his own. He was by himself. There was no rules. He can say anything. He can do anything.
Well, he thought he could say anything.
Well, yeah. So then he started doing that. He started testing it out. Now it's everyone, like you buy a car right now, like, okay, you got your van and you got, and it's amazing right now. Give it another 10 years. You're probably like, oh, I can't need another one. You know what I'm saying?
But you know where, like I'm listening to tell this story and I'm just realizing something, man. It's like, dude was a billionaire, man. And you can still find a way to be a victim.
And that's what I mean. Like you can get to a level, and if you can get to a level, and if you go too far, if that level is not challenging anymore, that level is just at your feet, like everything that's when you start looking for this other thing. That's when you start pushing buttons. That's when you start, and I think he's at that space where he got too far gone into the bigness of himself.
Oh, super narcissistic.
To where now it's like I can do and say and nothing. And even the outcome of it, whether it's bad and he wanted it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and he doesn't.
Yeah, but you know what? Why is it so difficult for someone in your inner circle to be like, yo, my man, you got to chill with that. This is not healthy.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, if they're on a payroll.
Oh, see, that's the thing, man.
They're not gonna get what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Kim Kardashian was able to be like, okay, whatever, because she's not on his payroll.
That's right. She don't need that.
She doesn't need anything from him.
Right.
But those guys who are around him, they're probably there for the check. They're out there to build themselves up. So yeah, you're gonna find some people who, be like, you know what, I can't take this no more and go. But they took it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. But dude, it's like kind of same thing that's happening now with Elon Musk, with all that money, and he's like tripping now too. It's like everything is so sensationalized, man. You're not a brand if you're not being sensational about something, Yeah. And ultimately, Rick, that takes a toll on society. It's exhausting, man.
It is.
It's emotionally exhausting on society. Dude, I feel out of place just for being a normal person. You know what I'm saying? It's just really weird.
I mean, just being a nice guy right now, it's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. People want to walk over you,
Yeah.
But you learn,
doing good, like trying to just be, even though, it would be
a caring,
better.
giving person,
exactly,
who's content with what you have.
Yeah, it's like that to some people that's weird.
Yeah,
like, wow, I wouldn't do that, because in their mind they're thinking, well, a person would do me wrong, so you know what? I'll do the wrong.
Right. And that just keeps a vicious circle.
So everyone is just afraid of everyone. So everyone is just like, well, I'll do the wrong first so I can benefit.
Yeah.
And you deal with that later. It's like a lot of that. But I think Kanye, he just went too far,
Do you think he'll ever be able to redeem himself?
He will.
At this point. You think so?
Yeah, he will. Because I don't know about everywhere else in the world, but we're in America where people can do the most heinous things, and they'll come back and get a TV show. They'll
Bro,
come back
you
and
get rewarded for that.
all you gotta do is come back and say, "Hey guys, my bad. I'm sorry." And because at once upon a time, there was something they loved from you, and while they loved you at that time, and then they're gonna love to hate you, they're gonna love to love you again. Or,
Right.
You know,
I can see that.
You know, so that's why guys like him, you know, certain people, like look at Chris Brown, you know, talented guy, amazing guy, but look what happened with Rihanna. Everybody thought that was gonna be the end for him. He hasn't reached I don't think he has reached his peak, and I don't think he could ever reach it because of all of these things. And I think it's not just because of society being hard on him, because I think everybody kind of is back on the Chris Brown is great thing, which, I mean, I think he's phenomenal. I think he's great. He made a mistake. He did something wrong, whatever the reason is. But I think he himself, he's not building himself up to be what he could have been had that not happened. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I noticed in certain things. Like I could see like he could have been something, but because of that, he's just a notch down or a couple notches down, you know, and I don't know if he'll ever make it, you know?
Right.
So he could have been the next Michael Jackson. He could have. He has all the attributes to be that, but he's not.
But dude, there's something there. Let me tell you, man, America has a problem with with being in denial about things and not wanting to accept things from the people you worship, you know, and you know, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, whatever, you know, Kanye West, you know, is saying and doing the most outlandish things, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And so what happens is that when we applaud that, it feeds that. It excuses it, and it emboldens it.
But that's why I said Kanye, he's where he's at, and he's lost it, because it's like, I said this, and you guys are still cool. You guys are still buying my stuff. I did this, and you guys are so now it's like, well, what can I do to make, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, brother, if you are content with what you have, that's the secret of life, brother.
Yeah.
You know, to be content with what you have, man, having much or little, that's it. You know, you're good. You know, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? You know, you become a billionaire and you have all these fans and all this stuff, but you'll lose yourself in that. Is it worth it? You know?
Yeah. And it's also the reasons why, like, you could be a billionaire and be happy, but you can be a billionaire and be
miserable.
Yeah. Because you realize there's no value. The value that you needed, you thought it was in the money and the fame, and it's not, you know. Kanye, throughout his whole career, if you look at it, everything he's built has been because there was a challenge ahead of him. He got to a point where what was the challenge? He got the girl he wanted. He got the career he wanted. He did music with the biggest people in the industry. He did it. So now it's like, well, he has to have something opposing him for him to go. And I think that's what he's doing. He's building that next thing for him to fight through.
What is your favorite Kanye song and your favorite Kanye music video?
Heartbreak.
Okay.
I love Heartbreak. Well, there was a song, God, what was the name of the song? I think it was Heartbreak, where he was talking about how he's on airplanes and he's doing all this great stuff, but then I forget the name of the song. Damn it, I wish I could remember the song, because it was a great question, because it's something I always thought about. Basically, he's talking about how he's got all these things, or he's on an airplane and he's able to fly first class, but then he's looking over at that family, he doesn't have that, or he's, you know, whatever thing he has, but he's missing out on this. There was a song about something like that. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
And the reason why that was one of my favorites is because at that time when that song came out, I felt that way, because I was traveling a lot. I was flying all over the world. I was shooting and I was barely home. And when that song came out, I related to it. I was like, damn, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have, like, I'm barely around my family at that time. I'm always out on the road. I'm always doing shooting and I did not have that. You hear what I'm saying?
And so you connected with that.
And I connected with that. So that was always one of my favorite songs from him.
My favorite song from him and the dopest video that I thought he ever did was Jesus Walks. And the music video that was directed by Chris Milk. and just iconic imagery, man. When the Ku Klux Klan guy is embracing the cross that's on fire at the end, and it's rolling down, you know.
Yeah. I think I remember that.
Dude, so many dope visuals in that music video, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Stronger. And the video that I liked the most was one of the ones I liked the most was Stronger. The one I think he shot it in Japan.
Oh, okay. But you know what, man? Now, you know, talking about this, I know we're wrapping this up, but this just goes to show, man, that deeply creative people, man, we can go dark, man.
Yeah.
You know, we can go dark. We just go down a channel inwardly, and our levels of creativity can just take us to dark places too, man. It can do good in the world, and it can do bad.
It can do bad. Yeah. Cool, man. All right. Well,
but this podcast is doing good in the world, brother.
Yeah, I hope so.
I was so honored and so glad that you had me out here, man. I love what you're doing here, and this is great, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming, man.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
All right. Well,
I'll see you on set on Secret Society 3, man.
Yeah, hopefully. And you know, you have so much more that we didn't touch on, and you know, I would love to have you again at some point.
Oh,
I'm
man,
sure you're going to add more to
that.
this, and then you know, we'll have more to talk about.
Likewise, brother.
Right?
Thank you.
And like I said, I like this to be it's a conversation, not an interview.
That's right.
So, all right. So just enjoy life.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, man.
You got it, man.
Later.
All right.